Hi guys, good morning. You guys should be seeing this on Monday morning if all goes well. We have a brand new project. This is a pretty good sized sign, and there's quite a backstory on this that we'll get to as we go on. But this one is basically a 2 foot by 6 foot sign. So what I have decided to do is laminate some 2-inch redwood, and I've cut my boards. Babe, if you want to scroll down here, I'll show you kind of what I've done. So you guys have seen, well, you may have seen me laminate boards together. I use 2x6s and 2x4s. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 2x6s and 2 2x4s. And this is oversized right now. It's quite a bit over 2 foot by 6 foot. It's 25, over 25, and it's I don't know, about 4 or 5 inches long of 6 foot. So I'll trim it down once it's all together. Right now it's just dry clamped. I wanted to make sure everything, all the seams were good and everything fit together. So what I did, and I'm going to put a video across the screen, I can't remember which one it is, put some videos across the screen of laminating to show you what I've done in the past. But basically what I did was I took my 2x6s, I ran them through the table saw, and I don't have that good of a table saw. I can't afford one of those saw stops right now. But anyway, I ran them through the table saw to get off that round edge, or what my dad always called the easy edge, to get it to somewhat of a square edge. Then I ran them all through the planer, both sides through the planer, and then I ran them through the jointer. And all the seams, as far as my dry fit go, I really like all the way all the seams look. They have a little bit of a couple of them have a little bit of a bend to them, but I think it's going to be fine because I'm going to sand the whole thing down. But what I've decided to do is I've decided to put this together in 2 separate sections. So 2 2x6s and a 2x4 will be can you see that, babe? I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I'm going to put this together in 2 halves, and then once these 2 halves are put together, then I'll put those 2 halves together and just glue it in the middle. You guys will see, but I'll tear it down. Now after I did my milling and I fit everything together, I numbered my boards 1 through 6, so I knew exactly how they go back together. So what I'm going to do now is, and there's a couple different reasons I decided to do this. In case I wanted to run these through the planer, I'll probably be able to run both of these halves through the planer before I put the 2 pieces together. And the other reason is, once you get glue in there and these things start kind of sliding around, you've got so many joints, so many seams to deal with that it can be a little bit cumbersome. So I've got plenty of time. I'm not in a big rush to get this thing done. I've got plenty of time, so I'm going to make it easy on myself. I'm going to go ahead and glue both of these together separately. And then the other thing that I wanted to show is, if you're doing a big board like this, these are cauls that I've made. So when you clamp these down, they tend to bring those boards together so you don't have too much of a mismatch. And these cauls, I normally use them with them laying down, but being as I had five seams here, I want to say that I don't know, what is it, about 1.5 inches. These are about 1.5 inches. So I turn them up on edge and I use them that way. That way they're a lot stiffer and they're not so likely to bend with just that 3/4 inch. They're twice as thick. So anyway, I wanted to, and then I covered those with packing tape so the glue doesn't stick to them. But anyway, everything's dry right now. I'm going to go ahead and tear this down, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to glue one of these together on camera so you guys can see. So we'll be right back. Alright, so I've taken 3 of the boards, 1, 2, and 3 board, set them up. I'll do those afterwards. I'm going to get 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to get these put together, and then let that dry for a couple hours, and then I'll take those out of the clamps and I'll put the others in. I might let it dry overnight, I don't know, but at least a couple hours. The bottle says I'm using Type Bond 3, and the bottle says a minimum of 30 minutes, so a couple hours should be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue one side of each joint And I think that's going to be just fine. That seems to be kind of a consistent throughout the videos that I've watched. Actually, I just watched one this morning of Steve Ramsey doing a glue up, and he only did one side. The main thing is to make absolutely sure that you've got total coverage of all the surface on the joint that you're putting the glue on, which I don't see that's going to be a problem. So we'll do that. So this is an exterior sign for a mobile home park, actually from our hometown. I'll get into the layout. Once the board's all put together, we're going to be doing a layout a little different than what we've done in the past. It's kind of cool, but the neat thing about this order actually comes to me from another sign company. It's a sign company in the town that I grew up in, Manteca, California, and John over there called me and asked me if I was interested in making a sign for him for one of his customers, and that's exactly what this is all about. So it's actually a commission job through another sign company, and I used to do a lot of signs for John back in the day, and other sign companies as well. So I'm just using one of those little silicone brushes.
The thing is, we used to live in that mobile home park.
Yeah, that I was gonna say that, but yeah, the mobile home park that I'm making this for, or I'm making it for John, my buddy that owns a sign company. He's got a big sign company in Manteca. I used to do a lot of signs for him, but yeah, that's the mobile home park that we lived in, I think, when we first got married.
When Rachel was born.
Well, when Rachel was born, for sure. That's where, when Rachel was small, because Rachel, yeah, so we have some really funny stories about that place.
Rachel learned how to swim right across the street in the pool from our mobile.
Yeah, we lived in this mobile home park, and we taught Rachel to swim long before she could walk. She was just months old, and she was swimming in that pool over there, which used to freak people out.
Yeah, especially when we'd stand on the edge and throw her in.
Yeah.
She loved it though.
She was a swimming fool, man. She loved the water. As did all of us, actually. We all loved the water.
Except for Ryan.
Ryan didn't love the water?
Ryan didn't like anything.
He was, yeah.
He was a difficult baby.
I'm sure he'll get a kick out of that. Yeah, Rachel was such a happy baby, but and Ryan was such not. But anyway, so that's kind of the backstory of this thing. We're this glue is starting to get a little thick. It's getting a little thick already, but I think we still got plenty of time. I think we're going to be all right. So yeah, I used to do a lot of business through other sign companies that did electric signs or vinyl signs or banners or whatever, and they'd have people that would request wooden signs, and so I would price it to the sign company, have them add on what they wanted, and I would just give them a net price, and it kind of worked out pretty good. All right, let's get this done.
So you don't put any glue on that middle board then?
Nope, not necessary. I used to, and you definitely can, but in this particular instance, I'm not going to do that. I just don't think it's necessary. Especially this Titebond 3 is just like supposed to be the best glue out there.
I'm watching you and I'm not moving the camera. sorry.
So I'm using different cauls on these. I'm just using just half-inch MDF, or not, it's about 3/8 MDF, I guess. What did I do with my clamps from over here? Oh, there they are. So just putting them right on the seams. This is another reason that that I decided to go with just, you know, just 3 boards at a time and do 2 of them and then put them together, just to give you, so it's not quite as complicated. So I'm just kind of firming everything up. I haven't really tightened anything up yet. You want to kind of do it not necessarily in sequence, but kind of together. I wouldn't want to tighten these up and then not be able to have those boards move the way I needed them to move to get level. Yeah, that's a pretty good seam right there. Those are pretty equal. I like that. Good. So I've got those a little bit snugged up. Now what I'm going to do is I've got 2 more clamps, because these,
There you go.
these clamps, we got clamps from the bottom. Now we want to get some clamping pressure from the top to keep those things from bowing and pushing out. Now you can just kind of tighten a little bit at a time. Yeah, those are really nice seams. Those are gonna be good. Yep. All right, now we're gonna snug those up. Now we could there's several different ways to do this as far as cleaning up that squeeze out. Some people leave it for like a half hour or so and then just go back and scrape it off. I tend to, while it's still wet, I tend to like, I've done it a lot of different ways, but I tend to like a wet rag just to wipe it off. Wipe that stuff off there. Won't really matter, that moisture won't really matter. Yeah, you can see that glue's already starting to set up. It's pretty warm out here.
Yeah, we still left the air conditioner on.
And the only reason you're doing this is just to save yourself some sanding time. I've done it where in the early days where I didn't do this, and it just took a little extra sanding is all. But this will make the sanding process a little bit easier. Yep. Now what I'm going to do, off camera, I'm going to flip that over because they're squeezed out on the back side. And I've done, well, I could flip it over right now, I guess. Carefully. No, I think I'm good. And that's another reason that sorry about that noise. That's another reason that doing 3 at a time is a little bit easier. Oh, dadgummit. You didn't see that, guys. I forgot about those big clamps on there. Let me do that, babe. Yeah, I forgot about those tall clamps on the ends. There. But that would have been much tougher to do if those were 6 boards in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning this up. And then I'll do the other half off camera, and when I come back we'll put these two pieces together and make our one solid big board. So stick with me, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Bye. Hey guys, all right, we're back. We got to get the rest of this glue up done. We've done both boards now individually, so we're going to put both of these boards together. And I am going to use, just like I did on the individuals, I'm going to use my little blocks calls rather than the long ones, and we'll kind of get into that. But anyway, I've got a little bit of a mismatch on these in spots, but that's no big deal. I'm going to do a lot of sanding on this thing anyway. I've got quite a few of these knots that I have to fill, so I'm going to be doing quite a bit of sanding on it anyway. So that's no big deal. The other thing I did was, yeah, this is much better. On these bottles, I know a lot of you guys use the other bottles. I just didn't have this glue in my other regular glue bottle. But in these bottles, sometimes it gets kind of dried up in here. You have to pop this off and get all that dried stuff out of there. Otherwise, it'll kind of constrict how much glue comes out. And that's what was happening on that on the last scene that I did. Actually, last couple scenes that I did. So anyway, now it seems to be flowing really well. I want to make sure I've got enough glue in there. And many times in the past, most of the time in the past, other videos that I've done, I've glued both edges. But I've kind of decided to just glue one edge now and make sure I've got enough glue on there. And I think that's going to work good for me.
Spread it around?
Huh?
You're not going to spread it around with your brush?
Oh, geez, I do need to spread it around. Gosh, I got in a hurry. Thank you. Thank you. You saved me there. Good point. It's not quite as warm today. Been having some monsoon rains out here. Kind of moist. Yeah, I definitely got enough glue now. Yeah, baby, we'll have some squeeze out going on. But that's all right. Yep, that's absolutely true. In my opinion, maybe that's not everybody's opinion, but in my opinion, I'd rather have too much glue than not enough. But fortunately, my wife caught me before I made a mistake and didn't spread this stuff around. And a lot of guys do this with their finger. That's fine. You can do it that way. Or I used to have in fact, I still do a little roller that works really well, but I kind of like these little brushes.
They clean up nice too.
Yeah, they clean up real nice. All right, now we've got some gluing going on. My benches are not quite built for this. So, and you guys probably notice I've got some 1/2-inch MDF boards down. I wish I had a piece big enough to go all the way, but I didn't have one, and I didn't want to have to go down and get a brand new piece of MDF. So now let's put our blocks on, and again, these blocks have they've got packing tape on both sides, so that makes them pop off really easy. I don't want to get that too tight before I get these boards level. There we go. Now I can see that's a good seam there. Snug that up a little bit. Snug that up. And I've said this many times in the past, guys. The biggest thing about this is preparation. Just lay everything out, go through the whole process, dry fit before you put your glue on, and just make sure you've got everything you need, and that will That will make things go much better. All right. Now we'll put our...
all over the place.
Yeah. Now we'll put our other clamps on from the top going down. Again, we got a little mismatch there, but it's no big deal. Got a lot of material there I can work with. And I've got a good sander. Her name's Vicky. She loves to sand. Yeah, there we go. Got some nice squeeze out there. So there it is, guys. I'll wipe up all that glue and get on the bottom side, but there it is. That should make a nice, good, solid board. Again, I've got a lot of filling to do, so when we come back, we'll have this thing off the clamps. I'll let it sit probably the rest of the day. I'll have this thing off the clamps. I'll cut it to size, cut the ends off, and then trim it down to size 2 foot by 6 foot, and then we'll get into the fill process on these knots. So we'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, okay, we are ready to start filling these knots. So let me explain the process that I went through here. I went ahead and took it off the clamps. I did kind of a rough sand with my 60 bit and my grit disc and my really good sander. It's my favorite sander. Did just a rough sand because I'll need to sand it again. I did both sides. Then I trimmed it down. It's exactly 2 foot by 6 foot or thereabouts. And so then what I'm going to do now is all of these knots, I'm going to fill everything. So the way I've decided to do that, there's a lot of different ways, but the way I've decided to do it is use sawdust and resin. So what I needed was sawdust from this redwood material. So what I did, and I got this idea from Mark, a wood whisperer. I just took a block of my redwood. I took my my disc sander, my random orbital sander. I cleaned this out really good. There's some more in there. I cleaned this out really good, blew it all out and everything, and then I just started sanding this block for like 30 seconds. And what that gave me was some sawdust, some redwood sawdust. Because if you guys are in a situation where you have a dust extractor, then you don't have to do this. But since I do everything pretty much outside as far as dust creation, this gives me a way to get some sawdust right from the board that I'm using. So anyway, I don't know why I didn't think about that before, but I saw Mark do it the other day on a video that he did on CA glue, and I thought, wow, that's a great idea.
How come you didn't use CA glue?
Well, the reason I didn't use CA glue as far as filling, and I absolutely could, is some of these gaps are pretty big. And what I want to do is I'm going to make a paste out of resin and sawdust, and then the CA glue wouldn't have to, if some of these knots are really deep, you guys know if you do fill with CA glue, even the thick or the gel, it generally sinks in. But with this stuff, with the resin and sawdust, I find it's just for deep areas and big knots with big cracks, this works really, really well. So I love the CA glue and doing it that way as well, but this ensures that that it's the same color of the wood that I'm using. And the CA glue can be kind of tricky when you mix it with sawdust, but the resin gives you a lot more work time. Yeah, you get a lot more work time with the resin. So that's what I'm going to do. So I am going to mix up some resin. We'll come right back, and when it's all mixed up, we'll mix in the sawdust and we'll get going. All right, guys, so I'm using the Total Boat high performance. Is that what it is? High performance. Yeah. It's a 2-to-1 mixture, so I've got 3 ounces, 2 ounces of the resin and an ounce of the hardener. I've been mixing it for a little over 2 minutes. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to mix in some...
No, the other way.
Oh, the other way. Yeah. Mix the resin in some sawdust. And what I'm looking for is a mixture that comes out similar to a paste, like a, what did Andrew say, like a peanut butter consistency, I think.
Bunch of sawdust on the bottom there.
What's that?
You got a bunch of sawdust on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it might be about right. There we go. Got to make sure it's mixed well, though.
See the cut on the inside, so you can lean on it or not.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's I'm just trying to get,
Down a little bit.
trying to make sure I get all the sawdust mixed in there well. Sorry I can't get a really good angle, guys, but that's about what I'm looking for. Doesn't that seem about right?
Yeah.
And I mix it really good, make sure the sides are... I've got no...
You want me to move this over?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Done?
Yeah, I think so for now. So now I'm just going to take this paste that I've got, and I'm just going to fill these cracks with it. I was going to use a putty knife, but honestly this...
I'm trying to follow you. It's not working very well.
Sorry. I was having a tough time with the video I did of you the other day. Same kind of thing. Alright, where else we got? I guess I'm going to have way more than enough. And again, I've got to sand this thing again, guys, so I don't want it, you know, I don't want any big gobs on there, but I'm not too worried about on it being proud of the surface. Let's see here. This makes it so nice. Honestly, this is so much faster than the CA glue process. I've done this before, but I can't remember what video it was. But I've got way more than enough that I need. But that's okay. It's kind of fun too, actually. I know Vicky is stuck behind the camera. She wishes she was over here. Oh, do I? Good. Thank you.
There's one right there.
Where? Oh, yeah.
What about on the ends? Does that matter?
Is there
On
a...
the sides, you've got knots here. And here.
Yeah, I've got it, so I might as well use it. I'll just need to sand it down. This stuff is thick enough that that it's not going to drip on you. I'll come around that side. Not on this end.
You're
Yeah.
going to drop the glove on the floor there.
Caught it.
My job.
Caught it just in time. All right, there it is. Gosh, that didn't take long. So guys, we will let that sit. I'll just go over it again, make sure. I've got like, what, 45 minutes work time on this, so I got plenty of time. I may even block it up and turn it over and do some on the other side, because I've got quite a bit of stuff here, but I'll do that off camera. So guys, when we come back, we'll be sanding this thing down, and then we're going to get into some layout. So stick with us, we'll be back. Okay, time to do some sanding. So I've already done the back side. I've got my disc sander with a 60 grit on it, and this resin sawdust paste really solidified well. This set overnight, and it's solid. It worked out really well on the back side. Let's sand this front side, see how it looks. So that works really, really well. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just hit that. I'm just going to do a portion of the board here, guys, because you can kind of visualize. If I do this, I'll do the rest of the board exactly the same. Now I'll just hit this with the random orbital. There we go. So I'll just do that whole process on the entire board, and then we'll get into getting this thing laid out and start cutting on the next video. So I'm going to shut this down right now, guys. I think we're going long on this video. So I'm going to finish up this board on the next part. In the next video, we'll get into the layout and the carving and hopefully get this thing wrapped up. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope this was helpful for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to subscribe. And if you have any questions at all, please email me directly, eric@makeawoodsign.com. Don't forget to click the little bell icon so you get notified when we post new videos every week, 3 or 4 videos a week. So anyway, guys, thanks so much. Give us a comment in the comments on here, and email me if you got questions. We'll see you on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.